All right, so let's talk about what we're all super excited to get to today. Trump got raided. We love it.
And Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Can I just say, I want to give a quick shout out to the boys in the blue, our law enforcement community, our officers, our Leos, the U.S. Postal Service.
Blue Lives Matter.
Blue Lives Matter, thin blue line. Nobody's ever talking about what happens to cops out there. It's really hard to be running around when you're, when you got heart disease. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to fund the FBI further.
Fund the FBI.
That's right.
That's right.
We love our law enforcement folks. You know who doesn't?
What?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yo, that woman is such a fucking beast, man.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
here, I'll pull this up.
So much to say about this.
So
All right,
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's just such a fucking piece of shit.
I mean, that goes hard though.
You know, first of all, it's the shameless grifting for me. It's like she didn't waste a second to try to fundraise off this. Defund the FBI? How is that even a real thing? You want to defund the entire FBI?
I'm fucking so on board. Like, it'd be great. Fuck it. Who
Doesn't
cares?
the FBI do something useful?
They do, definitely.
Functions? Yeah.
Even
like all federal.
So
crimes?
even ICE, to a certain degree, has like a sex trafficking division and kidnapping division. So like, no matter which federal agency you're talking about, of course there's going to be like a fraction of the resources are going to go to like combating real crimes and shit. And of course the FBI does decent work in that field as well, but in an overwhelming sea of incompetence.
So I feel like of all the governmental law enforcement bodies, I feel like the FBI is the most legit. I mean, there's a lot of federal crimes like money laundering stuff, financial crimes, shit like that is all being investigated by the FBI.
I just wish they did more of that. Like I'm in agreement.
Well, what is it they're doing that you don't like besides raiding Trump?
So, no, I love that. Obviously.
Oh, you do? Okay.
That was great. Fucking awesome.
More of that.
More of that, please. And also, throw Hillary Clinton in there. Throw Hillary Clinton in the pile. You know what I mean? I am such a centrist on that.
Well, hold on. They were investigating her.
Yeah.
They did throw. She was already in the pile.
I know, but they couldn't arrest her.
She
so
just didn't steal classified documents.
Yeah, well, again, make it work. I'm just saying, make it work, Christopher Wray, you fucking fake friend. You got appointed by Donald Trump.
That they say that doesn't matter. So
yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so what is it the FBI does that you don't like?
Okay, so one of the things that first of all, the FBI historically is started off as a white supremacist institution. It's the original, the inception of the FBI is quite literally around like the White Woman Trafficking Act and like basically trying to use a federal authority, a federal agency to combat black people consensually having interracial relationships with white women.
Okay.
That famous boxer that was exonerated by Trump, actually, like posthumously pardoned by Trump, is one of the first examples of that. So it has its roots in white supremacy, obviously, but even in contemporary, I mean, they played a role in they literally executed Fred Hampton and numerous other black leaders. Obviously tried to get Martin Luther King to kill himself.
Okay.
So there's, and then may or may not have played a role in that as well. May or may not have played a role in the assassination of Malcolm X as well. So the FBI historically is always been an arm of white supremacist terror.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Infiltration of black organizations, labor, pro-labor organizations. They played a role in the Red Scare propaganda.
Is it possible?
But even in contemporary.
Yeah, let's talk about contemporary because that's all. I mean, it's all relevant, right? But we're talking about stuff from like the 50s and shit.
In contemporary history, even under the Obama administration, is certainly under the George W. Bush administration, and even under Trump, the FBI played a fundamental role in oppressing and engaging in mass surveillance of Muslims. In the United States of America.
That makes sense, like in the wake of 9/11.
Yeah, one of their most common practices was to go and find like autistic or like, mentally disabled Muslim teenagers on the internet and then coerce them basically into doing a terror plot and then foil that terror plot so they could be like, look, terror is all around us. Muslim terror is really terrifying. and we did a great job stopping it. And of course, a similar thing that they did with the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping situation. I don't know if you remember that. It was kind of identical to that, but this time it was white people. So like obviously, you know, that was more publicized. But when it's a Muslim teenager that's like autistic, like no one gives a shit. But the FBI did a lot of that. Like the majority, I think, of the terror plots they foiled were terror plots that they themselves had facilitated, supplied logistics for.
Here's an article. The unlikely jihadi. The FBI pressured a lonely young man into a bomb plot. He tried to back out. Now he's serving life in prison.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fair. That sounds like a good story.
Yeah, that's a pretty common practice for the FBI.
It sounds like there's some really god awful like divisions. I think what happens in stuff like that is in the wake of 9/11 they have this directive from like the president top down that it's like we need to investigate terrorism and show the American public that we're catching and foiling terrorism, and then they end up like with these crazy ass
there's
quotas.
like not enough terrorism. So they're like, we got to make the terrorism ourselves and then catch it.
So that is bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
We
so
don't like that. So let's defund them.
So I'm on board. Bring it down to its bare bones and only do this. Like only
sex trafficking, sex crimes, homicides, financial crimes, political crimes.
Political crimes, absolutely.
That's a lot.
Arrest politicians every couple of weeks. Just like throw a politician in jail. Like I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would really beef up their numbers. I think that would really improve their approval rating amongst like the American public, because like nobody Congress approval rating is 17%. Just arrest some of these motherfuckers.
Oh my God, dude.
You know what I mean?
Wait, this is a really interesting comment from Minnie Lindsay. She says, "Hi, I'm a Larry Nassar survivor. He was the Olympic gymnast coach."
Another great example of the FBI
that's what she's
negligence.
Getting to. The FBI knew Larry was abusing little girls for 9 months and let Larry see 70 new patients while taking bribes from the USAG. We are currently suing them for $1 billion. Wow, dude. Yeah, if I would be fucking... That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So there's plenty that they don't do and they should do, and then there's plenty that where they do a lot where they shouldn't. It's just cops. They're federal cops. So of course, just like the police force, like as much as I criticize the police force, I understand the necessity for some like organization, some unit that maintains the presence of law and order. There's a necessity for, people to solve crimes, you know what I mean? Like detectives and whatnot. And so I understand that, but they don't really do that. And that's kind of what we're angry at with respect to all my criticisms of the police. And the FBI is just the, police on steroids kind of.
Okay. So basically what we've done is that the conservatives now have gone all full circle and become radical leftists, defunding the police. So that's actually terrific. We're on board with that.
They've always had a anti-ATF streak, like old school. The old school libertarians, old school conservatives, used to kind of hate the FBI as well, like Reason.com libertarians, So I'm glad that they're going back to their roots.
Well, let's start from the beginning. So, a couple of days ago, FBI agents raided Trump's house at Mar-a-Lago and took a few baskets of documents. They also broke into a safe.
They did not break into a safe. They had a warrant that specifically had to have dictated that the safe was accessible.
Yeah, but they accessed a safe, which is not easy to get a warrant for.
No, it is not. It's a different search warrant that you need to get. Like, for example, when you execute a search warrant normally, and you go into a house and there's a safe, oftentimes they'll hold up the raid, they'll stop it, and wait for a secondary warrant to come in specifically for that safe. Part of the reason why, this was a beefy warrant, right?
Right.
And the reason why that's important is because you can't get a beefy warrant like this unless you have someone on the inside that has turned state's witness. And that's the speculation, is that someone with access to this level of knowledge within the Trump circle offered this information that these classified documents were being held inside a Trump safe. Yeah, otherwise they would not have been able to get that warrant.
It's hard to imagine this person who narked on him must be I mean, imagine how close you have to be to know what's in his safe, what classified documents he stole. I mean, that's got to be fairly close proximity. But regardless, what really happened now that we know, a few days have passed, is that when he was president, when he was leaving the White House, he basically just grabbed a fuckload of classified documents and stole them. He at one point returned them at the request of the National Archive and the FBI, but he didn't return all of them. He kept some, and it's speculated the ones he did keep, because the FBI obviously went to a great lengths to get them back, were fairly sensitive, important documents that he stole. You can imagine he stole them for a reason, right?
Yeah. So the fear, and I think that this is a pretty reasonable fear to have if you are the FBI or if you are working inside one of these federal agencies, given Trump's track record of operating out of Mar-a-Lago and what that presents as a matter of a security concern, as a matter of national security, because Mar-a-Lago is a country club. They are not vetting every single person that is within proximity of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump literally throughout his presidency got into trouble for conducting presidential business in Mar-a-Lago around foreign nationals. So that was a serious problem for them.
There was even incidents of random people, or there was a Chinese spy, remember that, who got into Mar-a-Lago and got super close to Trump.
Also Maria Butina famously, a Russian spy, Maria Butina famously went all the way up as well.
So there
Didn't even have to use Mar-a-Lago, just use the regular lobbying arm of the NRA. But so my point was that it's understandable that they would be worried that this kind of classified material is still in the possession of the former president. Normally, as a matter of courtesy, presidents basically hand off declassification to the next president that comes in. The new president basically says you can still have some level of you can still stay in some level of in the know as a former president, which Biden unceremoniously did not offer to Donald Trump, citing national security concerns. So that's another reason why Trump cannot have possession of these classified documents. But like I said, I hope that there is more to it than just mismanaged files, right?
Unfortunately, I think that's it. I don't think anything else is going to come of this.
Well, then Republicans are going to make mincemeat out of this.
What are they going to do? Because they got to make up their mind. Is this a Civil War grab, or is this just he has these documents ever since Watergate? We passed a law saying that every presidential document has to be saved and filed with the National Archive by law, okay? And so Trump, while he was in the White House, was tearing up documents. He was even flushing documents. What the fuck? And now he's stealing documents. They begged him to return it. And after exhausting all civil options, Trump, that was basically the only way left to get the documents, is to go to fucking Mar-a-Lago and take them. From what I can tell, I think that's it, dude.
I hope that there is more to it than that, and it somehow links back to January 6th, because there's a secondary investigation on Donald Trump's involvement that the January 6th committee is looking at. They also seized the phone of a congressperson from Pennsylvania, including 5 additional people from the state legislature, I believe, in Pennsylvania, with direct links to January 6th, and they were communicating with Donald Trump. And the congressperson's phone that was seized, the Pennsylvania Republican Representative Scott Perry, he was talking with the Trump White House in the months leading up to January 6th about the insurrection. And he's a Freedom Caucus guy. He's a Tea Party guy. So, big libertarian hours here.
They didn't take computers or phones or anything from Trump, did they? I don't think so.
No, they only took his phone one day after the raid. So I'm hoping that there is.
The FBI did take Trump's phone?
No, they took his phone.
But that's what I'm saying. They didn't take any electronics from Trump.
No, they did not. They did not. And Trump, of course, pled the fifth in a testimony yesterday.
Which is great.
Yeah.
As he once famously said,
multiple
which I'll
times.
pull up, he says, "Who would take the fifth other than a criminal?"
I mean, he was right.
Right, yeah. But
He's morally consistent on that one.
he's right on the nose with this one. Here, check this out. Trump.
Takes it.
God, he looks like shit here, bro. What the fuck is that? Looks like a cadaver, like a
Yeah,
reanimated
they're coming after
corpse.
my king. He's not looking his best self.
That's like an open casket funeral showing. Fuck me.
Yeah, it sucks. Look how beautiful he was in 2016.
Yeah, he was. Well, he doesn't have his makeup on. So
Yeah, he'll come back again, stronger than ever before.
Yeah, check this out, guys.
You see, the mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Former President Trump indeed pled the Fifth. He refused to answer questions from the AG and indeed invoked his Fifth Amendment rights.
Taking the Fifth, I think it's disgraceful. You see,
Ladies
the
and
mob takes
gentlemen,
the Fifth.
we got him.
If you
What a fucking loser. Actually, you know what? He's not the loser. The people that like him are losers. I mean, you
People
are
that
such
like
a
him are
sucker.
yeah.
Such a sucker, dude. This man's a con artist. Like, how much more clear does it need to be?
I did a whole someone found a bunch of hogs on TikTok talking about how they're terrified of the FBI coming after them now, and they're terrified of the 87,000 new IRS agents.
Yeah.
And they think these IRS agents are gonna come in with guns and kill them or something because they're conservative, which is awesome. I love that they live in a state of panic all the time. But the attitude from the most radicalized Trump supporters is that this is civil war, folks. It's
right.
It's happening.